You've been going to the gym for a while now. You've been consistent. You haven't missed a day with your training. You've even been on track with your diet. And the absolute unthinkable has happened. You've hit a plateau. Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed that after so many weeks of doing the same things over and over again, that your body would adapt and adjust? Who would have guessed it? Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways to overcome and even avoid training plateaus. Let's do it. First and foremost, I want to make it clear, despite my beautiful performance, I'm only exaggerating, and training plateaus are 100% natural and to be expected when you've been doing the same thing for a while. Your body adjusts, it's nature, that's just how it goes. You can't always be doing the same things and expect a different result. At one point or another, you're going to have to switch up some of the variables. All that being said, training plateaus are not the end of the road. You have not reached your genetic limit or your natural potential. That stuff is nonsense. And I'm gonna show you how to break past those plateaus. My first tip for breaking through your training plateaus is to implement a deload into your training. What a deload is it is a period of time throughout which you decrease the weights you are typically used to using. So you go lighter on purpose in order to emphasize really the form, the mind-muscle connection, the stretch, and the squeeze. But the primary purpose of a deload is to give your body a break from the heavy loads you are constantly putting yourself through week after week. When was the last time you took a rest day? When was the last time you took 2 rest days? I know we always talk about staying consistent. We talk about not missing a day, but at the end of the day, taking some time off, or at the very least, decreasing the intensity a little bit, can really go a long way for you in your recovery and in the bigger picture help you to avoid hitting those plateaus. People implement deload phases into their training around once every 2 to 3 months, and that deload phase is typically around 1 to 2 weeks. And again, you are decreasing the weights that you would normally be using by about 50%. So it is a significant decrease there. I know if you try this, you're probably going to come back and say, Evan, this is boring. I don't want to do this. And I know it is boring, but I encourage you to focus on other factors besides the weight. You can make your workouts challenging. You can make your workouts productive, even when you're not going as heavy. Again, it comes down to the intensity you bring to the table. It comes down to your tempo. It comes down to your form. There are so many factors, so many variables you can mess around with in order to still have a good workout, whether you have heavy weights or not. And again, that's the whole point of the deload anyway. It's supposed to be a break for your body. So I wouldn't be too focused or too worried about not being able to go as heavy. I wouldn't be too worried about having the best workout of your life. That's not what it's meant for. It's meant to give your body a break and at the same time still stay active, as opposed to just not doing anything at all. Think of it like taking 1 step back in order to take 2 or 3 steps forward faster than you'd be able to if you were just going 1 step at a time. Going 1 step at a time, you can most certainly make that steady progress, but again, eventually you run into a wall and you just get stuck. My second tip for avoiding and overcoming training plateaus is to change your exercise selection. And here's what I mean by that. For those of you who don't want to just do a whole deload and you want to keep rocking and rolling, then I encourage you to switch up your exercises, specifically your main compound lift. Let's say you always do flat barbell bench press on your chest day after you warm up. You're ready to go, and your first exercise is a barbell bench press. If you've hit a plateau, I encourage you to stop doing barbell bench press and switch it up. Switch it up for either a flat dumbbell bench press or maybe perhaps an incline barbell bench press or an incline dumbbell bench press or a Smith machine bench press. Switch up that exercise for any alternative, and then for a few weeks at least, focus on that exercise. Track your strength on that new exercise. You'll see yourself making progress just like you were before, prior to hitting your plateau with the previous exercise. You'll see yourself making progress week after week. You can track that, you can focus on that, and then after a few weeks, switch it back. Go back to your flat barbell bench press, and even if you start out a little bit behind compared to where you were when you left the exercise, it might take you a week or two to get your strength back to where it was, but that's just because your body needs that time to adjust to the new exercise again. Once your body adjusts to the exercise again, you get your strength back to where it was. You'll notice in most cases, you'll be able to continue progressing and break past that plateau as if it was never there, because you took that time off to focus on still hitting the same muscle, but just with a different exercise. Switch up your exercises, especially that compound lift. Then when you come back to the original exercise, you will find yourself overcoming that plateau with no issue. Last but not least, my third and final tip for avoiding and overcoming training plateaus is to adjust your workout volume and intensity. You can do this by incorporating new training methods into your workouts and switching them up over time every few weeks. What do I mean by this? I mean incorporate a drop set after your last set on your compound exercise. Incorporate supersets between isolation exercises throughout your workout. Incorporate pause reps during working sets throughout your workout. These are all different ways you can intensify your workout and just switch things up to push yourself to the next level. Because at the end of the day, a training plateau means this. It means you are staying stagnant. It means nothing is changing. And so what do you need to do? You need to be the one to change something. You need to change something about your workouts. And if this was about weight loss, if this was about weight gain, once you stop losing weight, it means you need to change something, whether that means dropping your calories or adding more cardio throughout your day. If you're trying to gain weight and you're not gaining weight, it means you need to eat more. You need to change the amount that you're eating. You need to increase your calories. That's the only solution. And the same concept applies here to training. If nothing is changing, then you need to be the one to change something. This last tip is a little bit ambiguous just because there are so many different ways you can adjust your workout volume and so many different training methods you can incorporate throughout your workouts as well. You can manipulate rest time. You can manipulate training frequency. You can even just go to a different gym at a different time of day. I'm not sure if y'all have ever experienced this, but anytime I go to a new gym, the weights just feel heavier. And if not heavier, they just feel different. Anytime I go to the gym at a different time of day as well, the same concept applies. The weights just feel different. So maybe you need to switch up your schedule. There's so many different ways to switch up your training. It's really up to you how you want to experiment and mix and match the different ideas I'm throwing out there. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you avoid and overcome training plateaus. It's been an absolute honor. As always, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support in my journey. Our channel, our community is growing, and I have you to thank for that. Once again, thank you so much for all the support. This is Evan Aga at the Astrophysique. Shoot for the stars.